What is going on? Today is November 18th, 2021. It's Thursday. I'm on my way to work. And the video that I've decided to make today is one I've wanted to make almost since I became a DoorDash driver. And the title of this video is going to be, what in the world do I tip a DoorDash driver? Well, I am going to tell you, and it's a simple formula. It's very simple. So get ready. You might need a notepad or something, but it's pretty simple. About 1988, something around that time, I got a job. I worked at a factory. It was called True Manufacturing. It was in O'Fallon, Missouri. And at the time, I made $4.25 an hour. That was the minimum wage then. And that's what they paid way back then. They pay a lot better now. So I needed to supplement my income. So I got a job as a Domino's pizza delivery driver. Okay, and I ended up being a manager for a long time and winning awards and stuff like that. So, one thing that I did when I was a pizza delivery driver is I got tips, right? And what was a really good tip in 1988, 1990, 1991, 30 years ago plus? What was a really good tip? I'm going to tell you, $5. That was a really good tip 30 years ago, right? Okay, so we got that done. What was a great tip 30 years ago? What was a great tip? $10, right? $10 was just an amazing tip 30 years ago. Also, when I was a manager at Domino's and a Domino's delivery driver, Domino's used to have a policy, believe it or not. It started out, if you didn't get your pizza in 30 minutes, it was free, believe it or not. And then they mellowed that out to $3 off after several drivers had accidents trying to make that 30 minutes. First it was free, and then it was $3 off, and of course then they got rid of all of that. But to make that happen, how far did the pizza deliveries guys go from the restaurant? Well, if memory serves, it started out as a mile away from the restaurant, and then it increased to 2 and 3. I don't know how far it is now, but I would gamble to say for most of those pizza restaurants, the max is 5 miles tops, right? They're probably not going that far, right? DoorDash, how far will they deliver today, 30 years later? Well, they'll deliver anywhere. I mean, I get offers all day long for 10 miles, 15 miles, sometimes 20 miles. I DoorDash in Chesterfield, Missouri, and I get offers going over to St. Charles all day long, 10, 15 miles, so consider that. Sometimes a DoorDash driver is bringing your food much farther than a normal restaurant delivery driver would. So let's go over minimum tip first, right? Minimum tip should be $5. $5. Forget about what you paid for delivery charge, okay? If you want to know how much a driver gets out of that, in St. Louis, Missouri here, and I'm sure it's pretty uniform, we get $2.25. That's it. Now, anything else you're paying, I think it's around $8, right? That all goes to DoorDash. We get $2.25. But really, here's how to think about that. The $2.25 I'm getting for that That is for gas prices being $3.19 a gallon. That's for maintenance on my car, stuff like that. That doesn't have anything to do with the food. Okay, that is just the $2.25. That's to pay for gas and for anything to do with anything else than the food. So let's get back to the food. Okay, because that's what we're delivering most of the time. We're delivering food. Okay, so for me, I don't care if I'm across the street. Okay, whatever. I still got to drive to the restaurant wherever I was. I could have been a mile away, minimum, right? I got to drive to the restaurant. I've got to wait for your food if it's not ready. In these days, young people have revolted. There's not going to be a full staff there. I'm going to wait for the food, and then I'm going to bring it right to your doorstep, or I'm going to bring it right to you, or your office. I'm going to do a little photography, or I'm going to hand it to you. Now that's worth $5. I don't care where you're at or whatever. That's if you're within that 2.5 miles of the restaurant. Okay, let's say you're further than that. We've already established that sometimes DoorDash will deliver anywhere. You're going to have to do a little work, people, if you want to know how to properly tip your DoorDash driver. Okay? So let's just take 10 miles. That's an easy number to look at, right? I'm going to Google Map, or most you can just Google the restaurant and they'll give you directions to the restaurant because you might need them. We're going to cover that, right? And that'll tell you how far it is to the restaurant. Let's say it's 10 miles. It's just an easy peasy way to do this, right? So if it's 10 miles, what's the minimum tip if it's 10 whole miles away from the restaurant? All you do is take 10 times that by $2, right? So if it's 10 times 2 is $20, right? Okay, that's the minimum tip for that. Unless, let's say you're ordering food for your whole family, right? And it's going to be several bags of food, right? Then you take the total amount of the food. Let's say it's $100, right? And you times that by 20%, right? Because that's what you would tip a restaurant, right? For their food. We've already established the delivery charge covers the gas and all that stuff, right? All the gas and the maintenance of the car and DoorDash putting all that together and all that. That covers all that. It doesn't have anything to do with the food, right? And then we have already also established that the driver only gets $2.25 out of that. So that's separate. So you take the food, right? And you times that by 20% because that's what you would give a waitress, or a waiter, a wait person. And that would be, if it's $100 worth of food, that's $20, right? So it ends up the same, right? But let's say it's over 100. Let's say it's 200. You have people over, right? You times that by 20%, that's $40, right? So here's how easy this all is. It's either $2 a mile or 20% of the total food cost minus the delivery. Don't take the delivery out, and then tip whichever is more, because you want to side on the person that's touching your food, right? That's touching the bags at least. Who's carrying those drinks. Man, if you don't have to, people, don't order fountain drinks with your food. I know that the restaurants combine it all together, so sometimes you have to. Man, delivering fountain drinks is rough. And then the carriers they give you a lot of the times are horrible, So if you don't have to, don't order drinks. Also, consider this. Ordering frozen stuff in the middle of summer, I don't know. Even in the middle of winter, it's a little rough. Even though we have hot bags, they don't give us frozen bags, I'm not sure that would work. I'm not sure how that would work anyway. But just that's a whole other subject. Let's get back to tipping. Okay, so let's recap. So $5 minimum. I honest to God, if I was going to order food today at work, I wouldn't want anybody touching my food that I wasn't given at least a $5 tip. That's just how I feel about it, right? Okay, and then if you're within 2.5 miles of the restaurant, now let's say you're further away, okay, than that, because DoorDash will deliver anywhere, right? Which is okay with us, okay. And here's how you tip. Then it's really simple. You just figure out how far you're away from the restaurant. It's only that's only gonna take you this much time. You Google the restaurant, you hit directions, that's going to tell you how far you're away. You take that number, right, and you times it by 2, that's your tip. Unless you've ordered a significant amount of food, right? And then you tip, then you take that like you would in a restaurant, times 0.20, right? You know, and then you compare the two numbers, and you tip whichever is more. Right? Simple. Say you don't want to do any of that. I am already paying $8, you know, and you don't buy into that's to pay DoorDash to put this all together, and the driver gets $2 of that for his gas, his car, and all that. Doesn't have anything to do with delivering the food, right? You don't buy into that. I've already paid my $8. Okay. Well, if that's how you think, here's how I'm going to tell you how DoorDashers think. I'm not getting a tip on that order. That's not worth doing, right? So here's how they think. Decline. See, these drivers get hit. Decline. And trust me, when they see your order come across their screen and you're not tipping that much or close to it, a lot of us are hitting decline. Right? So it's going to take you longer to get your food than it normally would. But, you know, and then you don't have to deal with the whole shame of it. Man, I probably should have tipped that guy. Oh, I didn't tip that guy enough. I've already told you what to tip, right? But if you don't want to do any of that, if you don't want to tip at least $5, or very simply, $2 a mile or 20%, whichever is more. If you don't want to do any of that, I'm going to give you another solution to your issue, right? Of going to get your food, of getting your food. Here's what you do. You get up off the couch, right? Well, no shame in that. You put your shoes on, baby. Get your shoes on. You know what I'm saying? You can even wear flip-flops, especially this day and age, right? Put a little jacket on. You can leave your pajamas on. Everybody wears their pajamas everywhere. Make sure you grab your wallet, though. Make sure you grab your wallet, right? Right? You get to pay for this food, right? So then here's all you got to do. Or maybe you've already paid online, right? So you don't need your wallet. But you do need your wallet because you're going to need your driver's license. Might get pulled over. So, because people drive crazy out there. Okay, so then you're gonna. Here's what you gotta do. You gotta go in your garage. You gotta warm up your car. Man, I had to warm up my car today. There's frost on the windows today, out where I live, out in the country. So you can warm up your car. Then you just drive. You're happy. You know what? To the restaurant. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And then you wait. You wait for your food. Because there's not enough people in there. We've already covered that too. And then, or you can, hey, in Ellisville, and especially in Chesterfield, I cannot believe the amount of people who wait 40 minutes in a drive-thru. You don't have to do that. You can order DoorDash and just think, you know, if you live in Ellisville or Chesterfield, you probably make $30, $40, $50 an hour, right? If that your time should be worth that much, get that to a DoorDash driver and you stay home. But no, but you don't want to tip. I already paid you don't want to tip, so go wait for your food. Go wait in the drive-thru 30, 40 minutes, whatever you want to do. And then get your food, put it in your car. Well, you don't have any way to keep it hot, though. Well, that's okay. You're only going home. And then drive your happy self home. And then you don't have to tip. It's that simple. It's that simple. But if you just want to relax, let's cover it one more time. If you just want to relax in your pajamas at home and you want to call a DoorDash driver, you want to not to call nobody actually, you just get on your phone. Here's how you do it. You want to tip a minimum of $5, right? And that's if you live within 2.5 miles of the restaurant. If you live more than that, we've already figured out how to figure that out. You could Google it. Most restaurants say right on their website what are the directions to the restaurant, right? You can just hit that button and it'll tell you how far you are. You take that number, either you've Google mapped it or you've hit directions on Google, so either way you've probably Google mapped it, right? And you take that number, how far you're away, let's say you're 10 miles away, times that by 2. That's $20. But you probably don't live 10 miles away. You probably only live 5 miles away. So that's $10, right? $10. Which was what? A great tip in 1991. 30 years ago, $10 was a great tip. It's still a great tip if you live 5 miles from the restaurant, which is how far, at the most, those people lived from the restaurant back in those days. So you're basically tipping what people tipped 30 years ago. But we'll take it. We will take that. We'll take that $2 a mile, and we'll be happy about it. But let's say you ordered a bunch of food. You ordered a bunch of food, right? So just like you would in a restaurant, you times that by 0.2, right? So if it was $100 worth of food, right? And you times that by 0.2, that's going to come up to $20. And then you weigh that against how far you're away from the restaurant, and you tip whichever is more, right? So we're going to cover it just one more time, because I still got time before I get to work. Okay, so it's a minimum of $5, right? Tip, minimum of $5 tip, right? What's the driver going to get? The driver's going to get $7.25, which was a good tip, what, 30 years ago, right? Then what you're going to do, right, if you live more than 2.5 miles, you're going to figure out how far you're away from the restaurant. Not very hard to do. Google map it. Come on. If you need help with that, number one, come on. But if you do need help from that, ask one of your kids. They'll help you. Okay. You're going to figure out how far you're away. You're going to take that mileage, and you're going to times that by 2. And if it's over $5, you're going to tip that amount. Unless you've ordered a significant amount of food. You just didn't order one hamburger meal. Let's say you've ordered $100 worth of food. You're going to times that by 20%, just like you would in a restaurant that you didn't have to drive to and all that, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to tip whichever is more. And you're going to get your food quicker than people who don't. And if you don't want to tip any of that, I already paid $8. If that's how you feel, okay. Number one, most drivers aren't going to deliver to you. Okay. There are a few that will, but it's going to take you a minute. But if you want to be a decent human being, and you don't want to tip, that's fine. There's no shame in that. Just get dressed. Get in your car. Go get your own food. No big deal. People do it all the time. People do it all the time. I do things to save money too. I do things myself sometimes to save money. But don't short the driver because you didn't want to, because you wanted to save money. That's not where to save money. They're out there doing whatever they can. Probably not in the greatest situation. You know what I mean? Or they wouldn't be out doing it. In my case, I was doing it to save my family. Tip them. And we've already gone over it many times how to do it, and it's real simple. $5 minimum, and or if you live more than 2.5 miles away from the restaurant, calculate how far you live, take whatever the miles are, times that by 2, if you want, round up, times that by 2, and then tip that. For instance, would be 5, I live 5 miles away, I times that by 2, that's $10, right? If I live 10 miles away, that's a long drive, people. It's a long drive, right? I times that by 2, that's 20. Unless I've ordered a significant amount of food, and then you just times that by 20%, and you tip whichever is what? More. Now you know how to tip a DoorDash driver.